How's it going, everybody? I'm Drifty from Driftwood Gaming. Welcome back to Learning RPG Maker. This is a specific tutorial for RPG Maker MV, but you could do a similar system in RPG Maker MZ. You just have to change up a few things with the plugins. So this is a special request from Shiny Blue Dragon. It is sponsored on Patreon. Thank you so much, Shiny Blue Dragon, for the tips and tricks tier, sponsoring us on Patreon. Links in the description if you would like to do something similar. Shiny Blue Dragon is looking for a system like the way Pokemon does evolution. So we're going to do a similar type of system to where a monster can evolve into another monster once they reach a certain level, and they'll try to evolve, and you can cancel that evolution if you want to, but then every other level or every level afterwards they'll try to evolve again, and you can keep canceling their evolution, or you can allow them to evolve. Also, that we're going to make an item that will cause the creature to evolve if they meet the other requirements of evolving. So we've done a few different ways. We've decided to make it so that it's an actor that you can switch actors into instead of just changing class, because it makes more sense that way and it's a little more flexible. So it's basically what he requested, with a minor change of using actors instead of just classes, because you can still use classes on top of that as well. So let's jump into a quick example of what I'm actually talking about and see if this is something that you're interested in making or not. So let's jump into a new game, and we have our trainer Harold, and we have our monster Batchu. He's a bat monster, and we've got an item here, the Potion of Light. And if we use the Potion of Light, it will cause Batchu to evolve if he meets all the requirements. But level 1 is not high enough to evolve. He's got to be level 20, since we've arbitrarily decided it's level 20. So we need to give him some experience. Let's touch this experience crystal. It's going to give 10,000 experience and level up Batchu. We'll do this a few more times, and once the creature reaches the level that they need to evolve, they will try to automatically evolve at that level without using an item, but you can also force that to stop if you want. So let's level up Batchu. He's level 15, he's level 17, he's level 19. Now he's going to level up once we do this. Boom. He gains 10,000 experience. He's going to level up and evolve, but we can stop that evolution. So he's level 21. Every time he levels up after this, he will continue to try to evolve, but you can stop that until whatever reason you can have him level up using an item. So let's use an item to make him level up. This time, if you stop the evolution, it will consume the item. But if you try to use the item when he's not high enough level, it will give the item back. But since we use the item to induce the evolution and he's able to evolve, if you cancel here, it will take the item. But we're going to allow Batchu to evolve this time. An animation plays. Batchu evolved into Batch Ryu, and his character sprite changed, and his the actor actually switched as well, and he got higher level skills. So Batchu only has Bat Fangs 1 and Dark Wings 1, but Batch Ryu has Bat Fangs 2 and Dark Wings 2. So let me show you how to do that if you're interested. We're using 3 plugins here, but I think you only need 2 of them. The core engine from Yanfly and the level up growth effects plugin. These are both available on Yanfly's itch page for free, so you don't have to pay for this system if you want to use it. We don't need to mess with any parameters at all because they're pretty much plug and play. What we're going to be using is some note tags and some script calls, and we're going to make some events. First of all, we're going to make our actors, our creature before it evolves and our creature after it evolves. One thing to note, we're adding our skill types and our skills on the actor for this. You could do it in a class as well. It's just arbitrary. And for the evolved creatures, we're not showing the character. We are going to assign this inside an event later on. We keep the character blank here and change it when the monster evolves for some polish in the event that actually causes them to evolve, so it looks better. Inside the note box for the monster that will evolve into something else, we're going to put in some code. We're going to put in custom level up effects, and then we're going to close that right here with /custom level up effects. Inside here, we're going to put a condition, and then we're going to put what we want to happen on that condition. So when this character levels up, we're going to say if actor 5, which is this actor, is actor 5's level is greater than equal to 20, and game switch 1 is not on, then what we're going to do is play common event 1. So I'll put this code inside the description below. I can't use these little brackets, but I'll put the code, the conditions in there. Then we have level up recover all, which is just another bit of polish. You don't actually need that. That's just going to be for when the character levels up, his HP fills to max. And that's it for the actors. That's pretty much it. So moving on to the classes, we'll make one class to hold both of those types, but you can do this in classes as well. Like I said, we put those skills inside the traits here for the actor, but if you don't want to do it that way, you can put them inside the traits here for the class. That'll work as well. But you'll have to change skills in the common event if you do it that way, and it makes your common event a little bit more messy. So we put them in the actors here. You could create a custom class for each monster and party as well, or you can combine them into one. There's a lot of ways to do this, and it's really up to you. Here are the skills that we made. I've actually went through the trouble of making the skills completely, even though I don't show them really, but if you want, you can pause and copy them right here. Pretty basic skills. This one's going to drain some HP with a really weak attack, and then this one is going to hit everyone with an AoE. And then Batfangs 2 is just going to take a little more TP, and it's going to allow it to do a little more damage with that attack. Same thing with this one. I also made a state, so let's go ahead and apply a state as well. It is a pretty weak DOT, and let's say it'll apply 50% of the times for Batfangs 1, but it'll apply 100% of the times for Batfangs 2. You can change these up and make your own skills. I just wanted to give a few examples in this tutorial. So the one item that you'll need to make is the Potion of Light, or you can call it whatever you want, right? Consuming this will cause your Batchu to evolve into a Batchryu if they are higher enough level. You can call it whatever you want, give it any description, any price, it doesn't really matter. You're going to give it no scope because you don't need to actually assign it. You're just going to use it because we're specifically calling a common event to run when we do like this. And you do want to make it consumable for this system, but you could make it not consumable if you don't want it to be consumed. Occasion, I recommend only doing this on the menu, but I mean, you can change this up and improve it. I gave it an animation. You can give it custom animations if you so desire. But what you need to do is assign it a common event, and that's on the other tab on the right side. So that's right here under common event. And we're going to move on and make one common event for it. Moving on down to the states. Here's the Dripping Blood state. Very simple. Give it an icon, a name, and I'm giving it a negative regeneration, which is under here in HP regeneration. If you scroll the mouse wheel down, it can go like that, or you can just type -1%, and what that's going to do is cause it to lose 1% of its max life every turn. Turn end, 2 to 3 turns. Just a little extra there. You don't really need to make that. But let's look at the meat of this entire thing. This is mostly handled inside of one common event. Here's the only common event you'll need. It's really not a lot. It looks a lot bigger because I've added some comments in here. But you will need to use a few switches and variables, not a lot really. So let's start off and let's call it something like the item that's going to be called. Since I called this one Potion of Light, I'm going to call the common event Potion of Light as well. Then I'm going to control a variable, and I'm going to basically check the game data, the level of the first creature. So that's right here, control variable, single, set it to the game data of level of an actor, and select the actor that you're going to be using. Also note the number of the actor for later on, and then we're going to set that to level. Then we're going to make a conditional check. We're going to create a new switch, just name a switch, and call it Batchu Evolved, or call it the name of your creature Evolved, and we're going to set it, we're going to make a conditional, we're going to say if it's off, continue, but then we're also going to have a create else branch. So we're going to do everything if it hasn't evolved yet, otherwise we'll have a handler for it, and otherwise it will say Batchu is already evolved, and we'll return the Potion of Light. In order to call this common event, we consume the Potion of Light. We don't want the player to waste it if it doesn't cause their monster to evolve, so we give it back to them by changing items. The next check we're going to do inside of a conditional branch, it's in here, new conditional branch. It's on tab 1 under flow control. At the top, we did a check on the game data, and now we're going to do a conditional branch checking that game data. So on our flow control conditional branch, on page 1, we're going to select variable and select the variable that we just assigned a value to. And we're going to say greater than equal to a constant of whatever number you want to require that monster be before it is allowed to evolve, and set it to that number. And then also create an else branch. The else branch is going to be there, like we just explained, to give the item back if the monster is not high enough to evolve yet, but the player used the item. Once those conditions have been checked, we can allow the monster to evolve because we know that he hasn't evolved yet. We know that he's greater than equal to level 20, and we've used the item, or the character, the monster, the actor has leveled up past level 20. So we're going to give them the message to let the player know that your creature is evolving. So a simple show message there. We want to give the player the option to cancel the evolution. So we'll insert a show choices to say allow them to evolve or stop the evolution right there. When the player allows their creature to evolve, we need to run some checks. So we're going to remove all the armor and the weapons from the actor that we're going to remove from the party before we remove it from the party, or we're going to lose those items. So there's a couple of ways to do this. You can manually do it with change equipment. Like you see here, you can change equipment and take off the weapon. But say you have a lot of equipment, or you just don't want to do it this way, you can just do a script call as well. Earlier on, I told you to check which actor number that you were using for this creature. This is where we're going to use it. So to manually remove everything, we're going to use the clear equipments script call. So we're going to do $gameactors.actor5.clearequipments function. And that's going to take off all of the equipment from the monster before we get rid of it. Then we want to add some flash and keep it popping. So we're going to play an animation and whatever kind of particle effects and whatever things you want to, sound effects to make it sound really cool. And then we're going to add a new party member. Now, if you remember, we kept this actor's character transparent here. And the reason for this is because at this point in the common event, before we actually take out Batchu, we're adding Batch Ryu. So at some point it will look like you have two creatures. So we make it transparent so that you don't notice that you have two creatures for a split second inside the common event. And it makes it look better. So we're adding Batch Ryu as a transparent character, and you temporarily have two characters, but we need to check some information before we get rid of the first one in order to make sure that they're synced up and they match. So we're going to optimize the new evolved actor with the available equips that we just unequipped from the first one and whatever's available in the party's inventory with another script call. This is another simple script call, $gameactors.actor6. Now this is a number that refers to the actor number that is for the new actor that you just got, so the evolved actor. And we're going to use the function .optimized equipments function, and that will equip the party with the best things that they have. It's always good to let the player know what's happening, so we're going to do another show text to say Batchu has evolved into Batch Ryu. And then we're going to set the new monster experience to where the old monster was. When we initialize it, they're both going to be level 1, so you'd get this to level 20, and then Batch Ryu would evolve and he'd be level 1 again. We don't necessarily want that here. I mean, you could change it so that it does do that by skipping this next step. But if you want them to keep the same level, like you get level 20 or 21, and you want the evolved Pokemon to start at that level, you can run a simple script call to make sure that your evolved Pokemon has exactly the same amount of experience as the one before it. So we're going to take a look at that. So we're going to set the new monster experience to where the old monster was with a simple script call. And this is going to look like this. Since we're still using ES5 in here, we're going to use var instead of let. We're saying var exp equals $gameactors.actor5, which is the previous one, the first creature that we haven't got rid of yet, but we're about to take out. So we're going to store in temporary memory the current experience that this creature has. And then we're going to do another function called set value. So we're going to do $game variables.set value of 3, and we're going to pass into that value what we just stored. So we're basically taking the current experience of the monster that's evolving, storing it in a magic place, and then setting the experience of the new creature, who's currently level 1, to the same experience that the first one was. So they're synced up, and that's what it'll look like. This number will change here. Actor number will change based on which actor is actually evolving. And this number will change based on what variable you choose to use. I'm using variable 3, but you can use any number you want for this. Now that we know how much experience the previous actor had, we can do a change experience. And change experience will be right here on page 1 under actor, change experience. And we're going to select the new one. And we're going to do the operation of increase, and we're going to select the variable that we just set, and we're going to allow that to happen. We're going to not show level up because most likely it's going to spam if we do. It'll say level to 2, level to 3, level to 4, and we want them to just appear as if they're the same creature even though we're swapping out actors. So we're going to not check that. Now that we've gotten all the data from the first one that we need and we've applied it to the new one, we can remove the first one. So we're going to remove Batchu. After we remove the first monster, we can change the character image of the new one. We do this so it doesn't show both of them at the same time like we previously talked about. So we're going to change actor images, and that's under tab 3 system settings, change actor images. And we're going to select the actor that had the blank character, and we're going to assign the character to it. So now it's no longer invisible on the screen. You can use this switch that we used at the beginning in conditional events that would require the monster be evolved. So say you've got a guy who's like, come back when your Batchu has evolved into a Batchru. Then you can check that with this switch. So we use that switch to toggle at the top to see if it's evolved already, then don't do this thing. But we turn it on at the very bottom so that the whole event is done and the game recognizes that Batchu has been evolved. And you can use this in conditionals. It also keeps this whole thing working. On the else handler, when Batchu is not high enough level to evolve, whenever they're not greater than or equal to that number, this is going to happen. And so you can show text to let the player know why it's not going to work. And remember to give back the item that they used when they tried to evolve and it failed. Otherwise, they'll be really upset that they consumed an item and then nothing happened. And that's pretty much it. At this point, all you'd have to do is assign where you're going to put this in your game, the Potion of Light. Also, however you give experience, I'm sure you give experience somehow in your game. And that's about it, because whenever you gain experience, we're using the plugin to do a custom level up effect. So we can make any code we want happen whenever the actor levels up. And that's basically how we're doing it. So that's basically it. Hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial. Please give it a thumbs up, like, favorite, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. And if you'd like to make another tips and tricks or request your system be made, we have a Patreon. Check it out. Love you guys very much. Thank you so much for watching. Come join us on the Discord. Links in the description below. Bye-bye.
You did it!